I'm Kent, and this is another Weekend Adventure Rides how-to. Today we're going to go through how to pick tools for your toolkit, how I organize my toolkit, and why I chose the tools that I did. Don't go anywhere. All right, to get started, this is my toolkit. Actually, only kidding, this is the toolkit that was included with my 2016 Suzuki V-Strom. So let's take a look at this real quick and decide if this is something that you'd want to go out on an adventure riding trip with and put your trust into this toolkit. So let's take a look. Okay, so I guess we could start with what's good about this kit, because that's a shorter list. At least they have included 2 wrenches for you, and these are, of course, wrenches that you need, but they're open-end wrenches on both sides. So you get a 10, a 12, a 14, and a 17, and open-end, which will inevitably strip out your the heads of your bolts. So at least they have the right tools there. Then you get 2 Allen keys. I'm not sure which sizes these are. I think there's a 4 and a 5. Yeah, you need those as well to take off some of the plastics. So, okay, we've got those. A blade screwdriver and a Phillips, this cheap handle here. And then I'm not really sure what this is for. This is definitely one of the bad things that they include. It is a super cheesy adjustable or slide pliers here. I would never use this on my bike. I'd actually never use any of these tools on my bike. Maybe the Allen keys, but it's not a full set, so I'm not really sure what they're trying to accomplish with this other than checking the box that says there's a toolkit included. So I'm gonna put all these back in here, and I'm gonna put them in the bottom of my toolbox so that when I eventually sell my bike, I can say that it includes a toolkit, just like Suzuki did. But this will never come on a ride with me, and I wouldn't recommend trusting your bike with this toolkit. Don't even work on your bike with this toolkit. You'll just be frustrated and you'll probably ruin things. So this is what Suzuki thinks you need. This is the kit that I put together. So this is by, the actual kit itself is by Fox Racing, and it comes in this cool camouflage color. You could also get it in black. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but anyway. So I'm going to take this apart, set it out here on the bench, and we'll get started going through which tools I chose, why I chose them, and how you can do the same on your bike. Okay, let's get started. So this is everything that's in my toolkit. Well, that's not totally true. So I put together this little kit here. It's tire irons, and then also the wrench, a combination wrench. It's a 30 and 36 for removal of the axles on the bike. You can get these online. I'll put a link to a manufacturer in the description that I found that makes this tool, but a lighter weight one. I found that after I actually built this tool, so I just took 2 combination wrenches, cut them in half, and then had a friend weld them together for me. So that's what I used to remove the axle. This just attaches to the bike. It's too large to fit in the toolkit, but this is something that I recommend you have with you in case you have to remove one of your tires or pull one of the wheels off the bike. Okay, so that's attached to the bike, not in the toolkit specifically, but in addition to this, for removal of the tires, you're gonna need this combination adapter, which goes into the side of the front axle, and you just use a 3/8 ratchet. It attaches to it, and then you can use that in combination with this wrench to remove the front axle. So I'll put a link for all of this stuff in the description. Everything will be listed, sizes and specifics, so don't worry about that. I'm not gonna go through a ton of detail because there's a lot of stuff here. So there's this adapter. And just carrying on, I've got this adjustable 3/8 ratchet. It's a stubby or shorty, and it's got the center section that actually bends. It's easier to use on a motorcycle because of course you're going to be working in tight spaces. So I have that, and then along with that, 3" 3/8 adapter, or extension I mean, spark plug wrench. I don't typically want to change spark plugs on a V-Strom out in the woods, but we had a situation where a bike got drowned and the cylinders were full of water. So if you ever get to that point, you may need to remove the spark plugs. So carry a spark plug socket with you. And for this bike, it's a 14mm, but I think a 9/16 will work as well. Okay, so just like Suzuki thought was appropriate, I also have some wrenches, but I have combination wrenches, ones with a closed box end so that they'll actually turn the bolts and not strip them out like the open ends. So with this, an 8, a 10, a 12, a 14, and a 17 was what you need for this bike. We'll just start up here now. So there's this lubricant for patching tires. So you'll need that if you're going to be patching some tubeless tires, and then the tools to do that. So then I have some plugs here. And then for tire change, you're also going to need this little kit here. This has new valve stems in it, or not valve stems, but valve plugs, and then the tool to take those out, and then a little hex key here for changing out the tips on these plug wrenches there. I carry about 2 feet of stranded 14 gauge wire. That's just a good idea to have. And with that, I have some heat shrink butt splices here, and then a lighter. You're gonna need that eventually. So this is a 2-part epoxy putty. So if you blow a hole in your case or something, you might be able to fix it with this. This is a good thing to have. And then when you get home, you can obviously make the appropriate repairs, but 2-part epoxy putty. I also carry this self-adhesive tape. So with this, you can repair any of your hoses that get a tear in them, and that's a good temporary fix. I also carry some electrical tape, as well as some zip ties. So have some zip ties. You never know when you're gonna need zip ties. I also do carry a ratcheting screwdriver. It's a little easier to use in tight spaces. So I carry a variety of bits, everything from the really small blade up to the larger blade. And then I even have some Torx ones in here. You never know what you're gonna need to do. They're not very heavy, so I don't mind throwing them in and having them so they're just available. A box cutting knife or box cutting blade. So having a knife on you all the time is important. I do bring an extra set of levers in case mine break. I do have hand guards on my bike, so I hope that never happens, but I do always carry those. So my engine bars have a larger bolt on them. I don't think I'll ever have to remove that, but in the case that I have to remove that, I do have this adjustable wrench to do that. So I do carry a stubby adjustable wrench. Telescoping magnet. You will eventually drop one of your nuts or bolts into the skid plate on your bike, and going in there and grabbing them with this makes it a lot easier rather than trying to fish your hand in there. So I do carry that telescoping magnet. Tire pressure gauge. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And then I carry a full set of metric Allen keys or hex head keys. So I've got that with me. In addition to the combination wrenches, I do like to carry a variety of smaller sockets with me. So I've got everything from, I believe this is 4mm up to, or that's 5mm, and then all the way up to 14. And then an adapter for 3/8 to 1/4 inch. So my bike uses blade fuses, but they're not like traditional blade fuses like this. This is one for my heated grips. They use a low profile mini fuse. Take the seat off your bike, take a look in your fuse box, make sure that you have the correct fuses. There are some typically supplied in the fuse box for your bike when you purchase it, but get in there and make sure that, well, none of them are burned out, but also that you're carrying the correct fuses. These aren't a standard mini blade fuse. These are the low profile ones. So you might have to order those. They're kind of hard to find. I got these, I believe, off eBay in a big kit. So get yourself some of those. I do carry some gloves, just some nitrile gloves, just to keep from getting your hands dirty if you're working with any of the fluids in your bike. It's nice to have a set of needle nose pliers. Eventually you're gonna need these. I also use these as crimpers for the butt slices because I don't want to carry that extra tool being the crimper. And then a 6-inch vice grip. I've gone without these for a while, and there's been situations where I did wish that I had these, so I added these to my tool kit recently. That's everything that's in my kit, and the way that I went about figuring out exactly which tools I wanted, which sizes: pull your bike into your garage or your workspace, get into your toolbox, and go through and make note of every tool that fits your bike. You don't want to go out there with like a whole toolbox of tools just because you want to have everything. When I work on my bike, I use these tools, and when I find that there's a situation where I need another tool, like I did with these vice grips, I just went and bought a set of vice grips specifically for this tool kit and added them in. For the most part, for metric bikes, this is really all you're gonna need. Okay, let's talk about some bonus stuff really quick. All right, so I put all my tools back into my toolkit. Again, this is by Fox Racing, and it is set up to be a fanny pack. So if you ever want to use it as a fanny pack, I've never done that, but it's nice to have the ability to use it like that way. I know a lot of guys actually cut the wings off this and then just put it in their pannier. There is some storage in these, and I use that, so I'm not going to get rid of those at this point. So if I ever use it as a fanny pack, I'll let you know. But it is nice to have the ability to do that. So we've got our combination wrenches and tire irons for removal of the tires. I like to carry a hand towel with me, so of course you're going to use a towel for a variety of things. This isn't my bathing towel, but when I'm working on the bike, I like to set this out. I can put parts on it and then they don't get lost on the ground. Okay, so a hand towel. And then our first real bonus item is a 12-volt compressor. You can use this to inflate your tires if you get a flat tire. Also, it's a good idea if you are an on-road, off-road, dual sport rider. If you do take some air out of your tires whenever you go off-roading, it's nice to be able to get back on the road and air your tires back up with this. So not very heavy item, and I like to have it in my pannier just in case. Another bonus item is the ArcTech Jumpstart battery. Now you can use this to charge your portable devices, but it also has jumper cables in it that you can connect directly to your battery. So if you leave an auxiliary light on and your bike's dead in the morning when you wake up, you can jump start it. And we've used this before and it works pretty well. I wouldn't recommend it necessarily for charging devices because I believe it's a 8,000 milliamp battery in here, lithium-ion battery. So this is just an emergency one that I use to charge my devices. I put together a outlet for that, and I'll put a link right here to that video so that if you won't have devices you need to charge, you can do that on the fly on your bike. So check that video out. Okay, so that brings us mostly to the end of this video. I will remind you, if you did find some enjoyment or use in this video, to go ahead and like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys following the channel and watching the videos, so keep it up. If you see anything in here that I missed or that you missed in your toolkit, put a comment down below and remind me, or just show some appreciation for the video. This is Weekend Adventure Rides. We'll see you next time.